Hey everyone, welcome to another episode in DIY Investing Education. So continuing with the indexes, this is going to be the last episode on the US indexes, but we're going to cover another popular US index, the Russell 2000 index. So if you Google Russell 2000, or the actual code of this index, if you will, is RUT, is RUT. So just like it says here, the Russell 2000, sometimes on the news, they just refer to it as the Russell. The Russell 2000 index is a small cap US stock market index that makes up the smallest 2,000 stocks or 2,000 companies in the Russell index. So like the name says, you're going to have access to 2,000 companies in this index, but it's really the small cap, or the smaller companies in the US. So what do they mean by makes up the smallest 2,000 stocks in the Russell index? Well, this picture basically explains everything. It's a great picture. There's actually quite a few Russell indexes. You have the Russell 3000, the Russell 1000, and you have the Russell 2000, the one we're talking about here. So think of the Russell 3000 as the biggest 3,000 companies in the whole US stock market. So you have the number of companies here. You see here it's at number 500. So think about this whole section here kind of being like the S&P 500, right? The top 500 companies. You also have the Russell 1000, which instead of 3,000 companies, it's only 1,000 companies. And again, the S&P 500 would be the biggest part or a big portion of the Russell 1000. Just that with the Russell 1000, you have the next 500 biggest companies. So hopefully that makes sense. Where the Russell 2000 comes in is it's the bottom 2,000 companies here that make up the Russell 3000. So you really have the smaller companies. Yes, you do have a lot of companies, 2000, but it's really the smaller companies in the overall American stock market, or the 2000 bottom companies in the Russell 3000. So hopefully now that makes sense. In terms of ETFs that track or cover the Russell 2000 index in Canada, you have a few of them. Let's look at three of them here together. You have the Global X Russell 2000 Index ETF. If you just want a plain old vanilla index fund ETF that tracks the Russell 2000, so the stock symbol is RSSX by Global X Canada. They also have a .U listing, by the way. So RSSX, you buy it and sell it in Canadian dollars. RSSX.U, you buy and sell it in USD currency, but both listings, both ETFs are listed on the Canadian stock market. They also have a Russell 2000 covered call ETF, RSCC. So you're going to get access, obviously, to the Russell 2000 index, but they're writing covered calls on the index, giving you monthly distributions that you could see here. And they also have RSCL, the Global X Enhanced Russell 2000 covered call ETF, which is 125% exposure to this ETF here, RSCC, right? So it's basically RSCC with 25% leverage. So you have a little bit more risk, a little bit more volatility as well, but you're getting amplified exposure to RSCC. This one as well has monthly distributions. So that's it for the Russell 2000 index. So hopefully now you understand when people talk about the S&P 500 index, the NASDAQ 100 index, or the Russell 2000, or simply the Russell. We know that like we saw, there's a few Russell indexes. You know exactly what index is part of the US stock market they're talking about. So in the next couple of episodes, we'll look at some non-US indexes. We'll look at one for Canada, one for international, one for emerging markets as well. And by the end of those episodes, you'll be aware of some of the most popular indexes that track some of the biggest and most popular stocks all around the world. See you in the next episode.